I'll be back. I bought another vehicle, Mrs. Wizard.
Seriously?
Yes.
Why?
This is a fat boy, kind of like on the Terminator movie when he's riding around on Terminator 2.
You do like a good Terminator movie.
Yes, and I even have my Skynet shirt.
Oh, fabulous. We're all done for.
So what do you think about my purchase? It's beautiful.
It's a lovely shade of purple.
So this is a 2002 Harley Davidson Fat Boy fuel injected. And it only has 18,000 miles on it. It has Screaming Eagle exhaust. I'm not going to do a whole video on this, guys. Just letting you guys check it out real quick, and then we're going to move on to the rest of the video. It has a really special paint scheme called Harley Paint Set. This is gold leaf. It's real gold in the emblem there. I don't know the names of the colors, but it's like a pearl gray and a pearl purple. I really like the purple. And the solid wheels. Those are beautiful to me. Ever since I seen that movie, Terminator 2, and I seen the solid wheel Fat Boy in it, I've always wanted one. It's just that if you find a really nice one, they're not like $3 or $4 grand. They're usually 7, 8, 10, 12. They can be really high. And of course, it is a Harley. I finally found one. I snagged it up before it was gone. And I'm very, very happy. I can't wait for spring to get this thing cruising on the road. But just wait, Mrs. Wizard. I bought another vehicle on top of this.
You're kidding me.
Right behind me. Let's take a look at that. I'm on a buying spree, Mrs. Wizard.
I can tell.
We recently had a really bad snowstorm, and you took the RAV4, and I had no way to drive around in the snow. I had to buy another vehicle so I can drive in the snow.
I'm less than impressed.
It's a 2-for-1 today.
They don't come that way.
Okay. So this time around, it's not Euro-Asian Bob. Actually, for my friend Jay Lauer, he owns Lauer Auto. Here you can see on the plate. He sent me some pictures saying, hey, you know, the paint on here is not that great. I was kind of thinking about fixing it up, putting it on the lot, and kind of what I think about it. And I said, hey, don't touch it. Don't fix it. I want it just like it is. He was like, are you sure? He says, I can totally take care of some of these things. He said, I typically don't sell stuff to my customers that's not fixed up and ready to go. I said, no, I want it just like it is. In the state of Kansas, every vehicle that gets put on for sale is a buyer's guide, and there's supposed to be warranty stated on the side. I told him, I want you to ride as is, no warranty. I'm not going to hold you to anything. Can you deliver it? He said, sure, I can deliver it. And he brought it to the shop. There was some issues, some leaks, some issues with the brakes, and the tires are really bad. Let's take a look at this thing, guys.
And you said it was good for a snowstorm.
Yes, I got it cheap.
With bad tires.
Mm-hmm. On purpose.
You're killing me.
Uh-huh. So like I said, Jay Lauer normally doesn't sell stuff on his lot like this. I requested it that way. This is a 2003 Acura MDX. It has the 3.5 V6 and 143,000 miles on it. And I got it for $3 grand. In our current economic climate that we're in, that's bottom of the barrel cheap. And that's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. So let's take a peek around it and see what it looks like. So we'll start right here, and you can see the paint is kind of faded. And it is dirty because I drove it in a snowstorm, but up here where it didn't get dirty, you can see the paint's kind of dull. I think it's been repainted or either it's faded, but for what I'm going to use it for, I really didn't care. Go around to the back. It's not dented or beat up. It's in fairly decent shape back here. Again, you can see some of the faded dull paint. It's not glossy. No dents, no rust. If you look here, you can see some orange peel, maybe some scrapes like it's possibly been repainted. All the glass is intact. No, not even no little dents or anything like that, Mrs. Wizard. No hail dents, nothing.
That's pretty rare for Kansas.
Yep. Up front it has the headlights are really dull and faded. Those can be cleared up pretty easily. It's the old school MDX. You don't see many of these on the road anymore. You do see some paint peeling here under the headlight. Actually, both of the headlights are that way. But again, for what I bought it for, it doesn't matter. We'll let Mrs. Wizard give you guys a tour of the interior, and then we'll dive into this thing.
Okay, ladies and gents, as you can see, he is right, 143,000 miles.
But for with that many miles on it, and being that it is an Acura, which is a Honda-based product, that's not a lot of miles for this thing. If we look at the dash, of course, it's looking good. A lot of hard plastic in here, and some of the most elegant wood trim from the most fabulous plastic trees on the planet. But other than that, it's looking good. He does have a problem with the stereo. It wants a code entered. And the problem is, well, it's supposed to be written in the owner's manual, which we don't have. So that might take some more investigating to make that happen. But some of the mechanical issues was a bigger priority than fixing the radio. As we look down, easy controls. We do have heated seats. Apparently the passenger side is working right now. We're not so sure on the driver's side. So the one time I did drive in here with him, my side was staying warm, his side was not. Sorry, Wizard. As we look, we have some nice soft dove gray leather seats, and they're looking pretty good. They have a little bit of wear to them, but nothing major or crazy. So as we look at the back seat, we can see a nice bench seat back here, and you can see there's 2 straps back in the very, very back cargo area for 2 more seat belts for a 3rd row seat. We don't have a family of 7, but I guess if we want to, take the neighborhood around the block, we can. As we scroll up a little bit, you'll see that we do have a lovely entertainment system in the car, so we can entertain them while we drive around the block. As we move forward, we can slide back. The glass is looking great up there. Lovely roof to our shop. But other than that, the headliner's looking great. No major problems or anything, going on there. Looks like there's a little bit of wear here from chocolate fingers touching the visor. Ew, I just touched that. It's looking good. It needs a little bit of cleaning here and there, but as the Wizard said, he asked Jay not to fix it, not to clean it, so he got the package just as Jay did when he got it in as a trade-in. So I hear there's some issues going on in other places. Let's go see what the Wizard's got next.
Let's get the hood open here. And you can see the top plastic cover is missing. I've actually had Long Beach working on it, and he did an excellent job. One of the things I found is it was pouring oil out of the bottom. And what it happened to be was this power steering line right here. Where it crimps, it was just pouring down the side of the engine, and that line goes all the way around over to the steering rack. Not a tough job, but not that easy to do either. Especially for Long Beach, he's still learning a lot of things, and he's doing very well. It's had a recent battery installed, that's why the issue with the code for the navigation system will have to be resolved. One thing that was a big selling point for me that Jay pointed out was a timing belt done and a water pump at 114,000 miles. So it is got some years on it, but as far as the mileage goes, it still has a lot of life left in it, so I won't have to mess with that. So now I know the timing belt and water pump are good to go. We got this leak repaired. Everything else looks pretty clean under the hood. Like I said, a new battery. We're going to do an oil change on it. The transmission fluid will be serviced before it leaves. But after we got all that done, it was still pouring oil out of the bottom a little bit. So let's go ahead and get this thing in the air and take a look underneath. So we got this thing on our handy dandy bin pack 4-post lift, and as I was running it after we got everything else fixed, it was still pouring oil out of this inspection hole right here. And it ended up being where the oil pan gasket, or really the seal, there's no gasket. It was just leaking right here back by the flywheel. And either side here or over here was kind of dripping oil. Long Beach has already removed the exhaust and pulled the oil pan off and put a new silicone bead around it, which is what they did at the factory. It's just RTV. Everything's back together, and we've let it run for quite a while, and there's no more leaks. It stays nice and dry. So, had I bought this and had to pay to get it repaired by a shop, the price would have added up really fast. But if you're able to do the work yourself, it saves quite a bit of money. We can look up here where the radiator sits. We see no leaks or anything going on there, which is really good. Here's our transaxle. And one thing that people frequently forget at the quick lube places is they'll check your transmission fluid, but they forget about this little guy. It's a little tiny, kind of like a transfer case. It transfers the power to the rear wheels. It has its own little inspection hole right there and takes gear oil. Frequently gets forgotten. You can see that the brakes are about half gone, but they'll still last quite a while for me. There's a little bit of rusty crust from years of driving around. Check this sway bar link. It's good. Check over here. It does have new rotors. They were warped pretty bad. I had Long Beach put new rotors on it, but the pads, there's still a lot of life left in them, so we just reused them. I won't be putting tons of miles on this thing. Uh-oh. There's a sway bar link. That'll have to be addressed at some point. Here's our girthy drive shaft. No play in that. Here's our charcoal canister, which has a little shield to protect it. Here we have right here, this is air conditioning for the rear. So we have probably an expansion valve right behind there. These are the lines that go to the AC. And I think they're just dirty from condensation, soaked up dirt. Here's our fuel tank, and then there's our rear differential. You see our boot here is fine. The shock over there is dry. I can just see the brakes from here. They're about half gone as well. We haven't done anything with the rear brakes. Uh-oh, another sway bar link. It needs one of those. This boot is fine. The shock looks like it could use a replacement at some point, but I'll just use it for now. And that sway bar link is kind of bad, but the pad's still got some life left in them. And lastly, which frequently gets forgotten in any kind of inspection, the spare tire. It's flat, or nearly flat. So I'll definitely get some air into there so that it can be used in case of an emergency. These tires are made by a company called Triangle, and they actually ride like they're a triangle.
Yeah, they don't provide a very smooth ride.
Yeah, that's because they're worn out. The tread's nearly gone on them. So the date code is 2013, which is 9 years ago. So it's definitely time for tires, and I actually have some on order. I'm not going to be putting Triangle tires on, though. I've never even heard of that brand. So, all in all, pretty decent. It's not too bad. Let's get this thing on the ground. So all in all, for $3,000 on Facebook Marketplace, and trust me, I've looked around all over the place, you can find a lot of pieces of junk. Some of them don't even run for $3,000. So for that price, I think I did really, really good. Mechanically, it drove fine. The AC worked, the heater worked, the cruise control worked, the engine runs smooth. It just needed some brake work, some leaks fixed, and a few other small things, some services. It'll be a perfect winter beater car, which it already has served that purpose before I even got to repair much of anything. So this will get me through the winter, and that beautiful thing will get me through the summer. I can't wait to ride that thing around with some shades on and be like Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator from Skynet Model 101. I think that's what it's called.
Go ahead, Wizard. It's 32 degrees out there. Why don't you go take a spin for it right now?
The Terminator probably would. I don't think he would even feel any cold, but not me. I'm not cruising around in 32 degree weather. Maybe the Hells Angels would, but I won't. I'm a pansy like that. So if you're curious what kind of other cars that Jay Lauer has for sale, you can go to lauerauto.com. There's also a link in the description. He's probably not going to sell you this stuff. He likes to sell the nice stuff. Check out his cars if you're interested in taking a look at his inventory. If you're curious what kind of tools Long Beach used to fix the leaks on this thing, check my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut. We really appreciate it. And make sure to hit the subscribe button because you're going to want to keep up with the F-150 updates and all the other updates. There's all kinds of cars coming in the shop. Thanks for watching.